Hi, it's Ray Shields. I'm here to talk to you about the individual pairing process at Crossroads 2023. It's the largest Kings of War tournament that's taking place in North America, and it's taking place next weekend, September 23rd, 24th of 2023. So this is a team tournament, and as part of the team tournament, the individual teams play off against each other, and the four members of the team are paired off against the four members of the opposing team through a process with 8 steps. So I will intend to run you through these 8 steps. Why am I qualified to talk to you about this? Because it's my third Crossroads. Last year I was team captain. I didn't win, but therefore I'm not team captain this year. But I may have learned something in the process. Step 1, we have 2 hypothetical teams, Team A and Team B, completely randomly chosen, and the 2 team captains roll off to see who is the winner and will be able to select matchups or scenario. As a hint for the team captains, have members' names on cards. If you're very fancy like the aristocrats, you have your name on metal plates, but pieces of paper can also work. Step 2, knowing which team has won the dice roll, you nominate 2 players from your team to be put forward face down. So the opposing team, Alex's team, Team B, doesn't know who the aristocrats are nominating as their 2 individuals, Mike and Ray. So with that, the 2 names put face down, the team that won, Team A, gets to choose whether or not they want to pick the matchups or pick the scenarios. And what this means is Team A can say, I want to know, I want to be able to pick which of my 2 people play your 2, or which scenario is played in each instance. Step 4 is you reveal the names. So having chosen, in this case for Team A, the matchups, at that point in time, Team A would discover that Team B consists of John and Alex, and they're able to pick and select which matchup each person will play. So in this case, in this example, Team A, the aristocrats, Mike has chosen to play against John, and Ray has chosen to have a rematch from 2022 against, hypothetically, Alex. Now that the matchups have been chosen, Team B, the A team, gets to choose which scenario will be played in these 2 pairings. And this is really important because there are 6 potential scenarios to play from each round. Once a scenario is chosen for the round, it can't be chosen again. So you have a bit of play whereby you can pick a scenario to make sure that no one else can play it, or you can pick a scenario because you think your army is significantly better than the opponent at that scenario. So in this hypothetical example, for John versus Mike, the scenario matchup was control, and Alex has decided to play invade against Ray's forces. With that complete, the team that selected the scenario for the first pair of matches gets to choose the matchup for the second group of players, and the team that selected matchups in the first one gets to pick scenarios. So really, you alternate for the last 2 pairings. So this impacts who the team captain puts forward first and how that process works. And that is how the individual pairings occur at Crossroads. So some suggestions for players going into this tournament and how you can help your team captain. First and foremost, know your strengths and weaknesses. Ideally, I could say, like, look through all 96 armies that are going to be in attendance, figure out which ones you like to play against and which ones you don't. But that is an awful lot of work in very little time. What would be better is simply saying to your team captain, I'm really good against 3 different types: forces of nature, elves, and Sylvan. I guess Sylvankin would be elves, but that kind of thing. Or you can say, I'm very good against defense 6 armies. That'd be like dwarfs, abyssal dwarfs, some force of nature builds. I'm good against shooting armies. I'm good against alpha strike armies. I'm good against balanced armies. So that way the team captain knows in general what your army is good against and what you have a firm matchup against going ahead. Specifics are always a bit more challenging and probably a lot more work than what it's worth, with the exception of against opponents where there's a high likelihood that you'll be playing them. But as a team captain, knowing that player X is good in this type of matchup is very helpful when you're going in for those individual pairings. And the next option is scenario choice. With 6 scenarios each round, there is an element of choice. So you might not always be able to get the matchup you want, but you should be able to get the type of scenario that you want. And what I mean by that is Countercharge has done 2 excellent episodes, one talking about area control, one talking about movement scenarios, and the third is like less common scenarios, smoke and mirrors, fool's gold, where the bluff counters are used. If you know that your army can play area, if you know your army can play movement, if you like to play the bluff counters, then being able to tell your team captain that you are good at those 2 or 3, like just pick 3 scenarios with 6 scenarios picked each round. Probably 2 of the 6 scenarios that you're good at will likely come up each round that's played at the tournament, 5-round tournament. And your team captain may be able to get you one of those 2 or 3 that you choose from. So ideally, I'd like to know I have person A, let's say Mike Zettelmeyer. He's playing ogres. He's good against defense 5 armies. And his preferred scenarios are area control because he's running MSU ogres. That would make my job as team captain very easy. And really, the team captain is going to be losing a lot of sleep as he has to think of how not to fail his team at Crossroads. So first off, figure out what matchups, what type of army you're good against. Second, figure out what type of scenario you're good to play. So for the team captain, just remember rounds 1 to 4 are capped at 60 points. What this means is if you can get 3 wins and a loss, you're good to go for the first 4 rounds. 2 wins and 2 losses does not by any stretch of the imagination put you out of the running, and the final round has no cap. So you want to be within striking distance. Obviously, 4 games being played in the final round. Blackjack scoring, you're talking a maximum score of 84. So you should be looking for the first 4 rounds to be trying to get 3 wins and a loss. But what that means, and with the nature of the tournament, every point counts. So when you're playing the game, if you can get an extra point and maximize your wins and minimize your losses, that's the way to play it. It also means that if there's one person who has to bite the bullet and take an opponent that no one else wants to face, it does not ruin the round for you, and you can still overcome it. But you're the team captain. Have fun, have a plan, and have a drink. So just went through quickly what the steps are for the individual pairings. Team captains roll off. You nominate your players in secret. You decide whether or not, if you win the dice roll, whether or not you want to choose matchups or scenarios. After you've decided if you want to play matchups or scenarios, then you reveal the players. If you picked matchups because you won the dice roll, then you get to decide which of the nominated opponents will play. And then the other team will get to choose the scenarios, and then you flip. So that's the individual process in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions. Happy to share a drink with anyone who can make it down for Crossroads 2023. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to looking through the lists that get released and seeing everyone there. Thanks a lot.